In the 2010 NFL season, the Carolina Panthers finished with the worst record in the entire NFL. What that means is that the following year, they got to select their franchise quarterback, Cam Newton. And with that being said, you guys know I had to pick myself up a bag of Doritos and a copy of Madden 10 for the Xbox 360 to try to save Panthers fans from years of misery and finally win them a Super Bowl. Well, Pudays fam, here we are in Madden 10. It's been so long since I've ever touched this game in general. I didn't even have a copy. I had to go to the store and buy myself another copy of Madden 10, which I think was only like $5, but you know, it isn't too bad. So now I own Madden 10, which is pretty cool. I'll definitely look into, you know, a bunch of other stuff on Madden 10 after the video. I haven't played this game, like I said, in so long, but I just really want to take a look at the team. As you guys can tell, the whole franchise menu is so different. Like, so now this is the team they had before they went 2-14. This was the year they went 2-14. Jake Delhomme, Josh McCown, Matt Moore. The quarterback room isn't really too good. Josh McCown's a 59 overall in this, and he's been in the league for 7 years up to this point. And then Matt Moore, another guy who's also been in the league for a while. Jake Delhomme's going to be our quarterback here, probably for year number 1. Running back, D'Angelo Williams, one of the all-greats, probably the best running back or one of the best running backs in the game at this time. Jonathan Stewart, going into his second year, an 85 overall. Jonathan Stewart was a great back. He was with that Panthers team when they lost to the Broncos in the Super Bowl. Another all-pro, all-great wide receiver Hall of Famer, Steve Smith, which is going into his 9th year at a 97 overall. Mushin Muhammad, 79 overall. For any of you guys that know the 0-16 Browns or the 1-15 Browns, Gary Barnidge was a guy that was on their roster. He was the tight end there, I think actually for a couple years after that season. Ryan Khalil, another Hall of Fame guy, center, 85 overall, going into his 3rd year. On the defensive side of the ball, we got Charles Johnson, only at a 68 overall. Julius Peppers, 97 overall, going into his 8th year. Another great player. We even got Thomas Davis, who some people call him Thomas Davis Sr., at an 85 overall. It's actually a pretty young Thomas Davis as well, 26 years old. 92 overall, John Beeson. And then at cornerback, it doesn't really look too good. We got Chris Gamble. And that's really it for this Panthers team. You know, it doesn't really look too good. They do have a couple good players, couple star players. I don't think this team is 2-14 capable, but so here is what we're going to do to start this off. We're going to sim to the end of year number 1, look at all the players, look at the stats, look at the awards, basically check everything out. We're going to see if this team was cooking up or not. Probably not, because it's going to be year number 1, obviously. But let's go ahead and sim and let's find out. Maybe we'll be surprised. Who knows? This is a very different, you know, sim standpoint. So we did finish year number 1 with an 8-8 record. That is better than I kind of expected here. I didn't think this team would even win 8 games. I was thinking somewhere from the 4 to 6 range, but we'll take it. Obviously, it's going to dodge our draft pick. We're not going to get a low one as we wanted, but 8 wins is 8 wins. Let's go ahead and check out the season stats, at least for our team. So Mr. Jake Delhomme, 3.5k yards, 24 touchdowns, and 16 picks, a sack 32 times as well, with a 58% completion percentage. I can tell you right now, he will not be back next year. D'Angelo Williams, 1.3k on the ground and 5 touchdowns. Jonathan Stewart, 425 and 2. And Brad Hoover, our fullback, with 256 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also keep in mind, D'Angelo Williams averaged 82 yards per game. Steve Smith, 88 catches, 1,404 yards and 8 touchdowns. Jeff King, 56 catches, 562 yards and 2. Mushin Muhammad, 55 catches, 574 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dwayne Jarrett, 42 catches, 443 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then D'Angelo Williams also had 4 touchdowns in the receiving category as well. John Beeson, our starting middle linebacker, with 176 tackles. And then 6 interceptions for John Beeson as well, with his 176 tackles. So that is going to do it for year number 1. We're going to go ahead and sim to the next year. And let's see if our team, our general manager, made any moves to improve at all. You know, an 8-8 record, it's not that hard to improve from there, because there's a couple more wins you can crack yourself right in the wild card or even the playoffs. Here we are now in year number 2, and it looks like we did not make a single change at all at quarterback. We did draft Bobby Bennett, who's a 48 overall, so he's not going to be playing. Still got D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. We did sign Jordan Gross, who's a 95 overall left tackle. Looks like with our 1st round pick, we drafted Jaleel Ambrose, a 74 overall cornerback. So we didn't increase or decrease at all as a team standpoint. I am going to go ahead and check out the free agent market though, and we are going to sign Kyle Orton, quarterback, former Browns quarterback, former Purdue legend, and I think honestly we let him start this season. You know, what do we have to lose? He's also only 27 years old, so it'll be interesting to see what goes on from here. We are going to make him our quarterback? Well, no. But we have our squad, we have our team for year number 2. Let's hope we can win more than 8 games and possibly crack the playoffs this year. I really want to give this simulation at least 4 years to kind of see if this team wants to do anything or not. Obviously, if I was making the moves, I think we could win a Super Bowl immediately. But we did improve with a 9-7 record, but we did not make the playoffs. No playoffs, so let's hope maybe next year we can get in there. But Kyle Orton had a little bit of a weird season, 2.7k yards, 22 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions with a 56% completion percentage. We only signed him to a 1-year deal, so I guess there's nothing really to regret here. Definitely low in the yards. That could be a big reason why we only won 9 games, but then again, 9 games is a lot of wins. D'Angelo Williams, 1.5k, 7 touchdowns. Jonathan Stewart, 547 and 4. Steve Smith, 70 catches, 852 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Dante Rosario, 59 catches, 569 yards, and 4. And it looks like our offensive line is allowing a lot of sacks, especially one of our best players, Duke Robinson. Ryan Coogler also allowing 11, one of the best offensive linemen on the team at an 88 overall, allowing 11 sacks. Especially as a center, that's not really what we want to see. And John Beeson picking up where he kept off last season, 167 tackles and an interception, 10 sacks for Julius Peppers, 4 interceptions for Richard Marshall. But that's going to do it for year number 2. We go from 8-8 to 9-7 after a quarterback change. One more win than last year. You know, obviously we'll take it, another extra win, but we didn't get to make the playoffs. So let's hope that the CPU can, you know, kind of improve this team. I mean, the team isn't bad, but you know, it's not really working. Maybe we just fired some guys and kind of improve on the staff point. But here we are now in year number 3, and it looks like with our first round pick, after going 9-7, we did draft a quarterback, Jonathan Arnold, 76 overall. He's pretty small, 6 foot, so he's kind of like Bryce Young, but in Madden 10. But he will be our quarterback for next year at least, and you know, maybe the coming years to come. D'Angelo Williams back at a 95 overall. Jonathan Stewart goes up to a 92, and at the wide receiver position, looks like we picked up Earl Bennett at an 83 overall. He is pretty slow, 83 speed, but he is an 83 overall. Who knows? Maybe he can get it done for us at the wide receiver 2 position. And we also added 2 new tight ends to the roster in Mercedes Lewis and Jim Clesson Sasser. Not even going to try, but he looks like an offensive lineman. Looks like we also drafted a defensive end last year that I never saw, Axel Santis. And this year we drafted an 84 overall defensive tackle, Earl Whittaker. He has 90 strength as well. And look at that, John Beeson goes up to a 95 overall. And wow, what a draft we had. We drafted Anton Wells, 76 overall, left outside linebacker. And our cornerbacks look a little bit better than it normally does. Still got Chris Gamble, Richard Marshall, Jaleel Ambrose, Kelly Jennings, and Fred Bennett. You know, from year 1, I will say this is an upgrade at cornerback. We also got Kevin Overstreet at kicker now, 76 overall. And I definitely think this is going to be an interesting season to see. This is going to be our make or break point. 8-8 and then 9-7. We could potentially see a playoff team here. We go from 8-8 to 9-7 to 5-11. And this year we probably had the best team to get it done with. Yep, and what do you know? Our rookie quarterback, Jonathan Arnold, 2,900 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 17 picks with a 53% completion percentage. This is probably the worst year we've had in the 3 years we've seen so far. D'Angelo Williams, 1.3k yards and 5 touchdowns, and nothing else on the ground game for our running backs. Receiving wise though, Steve Smith, 70 catches, 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. Mercedes Lewis, 54, 594 and 8. And Patrick Creighton, 30 catches, 374 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I really think the offensive line is the reason we're not winning games this year. Alright, so obviously no changes at quarterback as we still have Jonathan Arnold, and he will be our starter for the final year. D'Angelo Williams stays at a 95, Jonathan Stewart stays at a 92, and at wide receiver we did make 2 changes. We picked up Joe Walsh and Chris Chambers. Tight end, we also picked up Cornelius Ingram, and I just want to say now I really don't get it because this offensive line is so good on paper and we just literally can't get it together. I really hope that we can crack the playoffs in the final year here, and we do not make the playoffs as we finish with a 6-10 record. So we go from an 8-8 team to a 9-7 team to a 5-11 team and then a 6th and 10 team. So overall, I think we really just decreased throughout this simulation. And passing, once again, a terrible season for Jonathan Arnold. 2.8k yards, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions with a 56% completion percentage. D'Angelo Williams, 1.1k yards and 7 touchdowns. So it looks like he's just downgrading every year. Jonathan Stewart with 575 and 2, 57 catches, 842 yards and 6 touchdowns. And our whole receiving corps just had a downgrade, or just the ball was spread around a lot more. Not as much sacks allowed by the offensive line this year, but still a lot from our top guys. And John Beeson, who's been a beast this whole simulation, like I said earlier, 167 tackles and a sack. Chris Harris with 5 interceptions, and then Everett Brown with 13 sacks. So not exactly what we were looking for in this simulation. Definitely a fail. I don't get how this team gets better on paper and then we just fall down. Only one more week until college football 25 drops, and you guys already know first day comes out, we will be dropping bangers. So hope y'all stay tuned for that. If you guys have any ideas until then, let me know, of course, down in the comments below. Make sure you guys like and sub, turn those post notifications on so you never miss another video from the GOAT Who Days himself. Till next time, it's Tyler signing off. See ya.